Some of my colleagues wrote an article called The Demographic Time Bomb, and that was about the issues the world will face in the future as retirees start retiring, and whether the state sector could afford all of the draw on the capital. Now, I'm not going to talk about the state sector in this particular presentation. We all know the story that there's too few millennials and younger people paying into the system to pay for these retirees. The maths don't add up, so the entitlements can explode. And these numbers can be in the hundreds of trillions of dollars. But I don't want to talk about that. I also don't want to talk about the defined benefit pension system. That's another big story that I think many of you are aware of. We've seen it all across America and all across Europe into the UK, where defined benefit pension schemes will never be able to afford to pay out the promises that they had to the retirees. You see, the returns in financial markets weren't quite as good as the snake oil salesman on Wall Street told everybody. And that was a problem. It's kind of like a Ponzi scheme. The first people to get out made all the returns. The last people to get out get nothing. And that's the real issue. The real issue is all of this is coming to a head because everybody is about to retire. If you look at the chart of the baby boomers reaching retirement age, you can see it's a demographic wall. Currently, we're retiring at about 3.9 million in America alone, baby boomers. And it goes up in a straight line all the way through to 2027. What we've got is more and more people every year retiring. That is an extraordinary state of affairs because retirees have a different behaviour pattern than the average person. You can see the chart in a different way here. You can see that the average retirement age is currently around 64 in America, and this year, 2018, the average baby boomer is 64. It's telling us the average person is destined to retire this year. But the real question is here, who can afford to retire? You see, if we look at the retirement age of Americans, the actual retirement age is going up. And those who haven't retired, they're deciding that they're going to have to work longer too. You see, the real issue here is that people can't afford to retire. So they're having to extend retirement, either expected or current retirement dates, out into the future. It's this problem of not being able to afford retirement that is creating the problems we've got today. The other way you can look at this is when I look at the labour force participation rate of the people above 65 years old. Oddly, the 65-year-olds have been coming back into the labour force at a record rate. They're competing for jobs with millennials and others. This is an odd state of affairs, and again is driven by the issue of these baby boomers having far too much debt to retire and not enough savings.